Local government teams shouldn't have to waste time on manual data entry into outdated systems. With Symphony 3 Smart Glue, you don't have to. You can automate repetitive tasks, eliminate double handling, and connect legacy systems with ease. Smart Glue helps councils streamline operations, reduce errors, and deliver better services without replacing your existing systems. It's time to build smarter, more connected local governments. Learn more at www.symphony3.com. Symphony 3, supporters of the Local Government News Roundup. Coming up, a mayor's misconduct complaint against a councillor dismissed. Whitehorse Council's multi-million-dollar fight with SRL. Buloke formalises its frustration with the state government. A wave of demerger optimism in New South Wales. Rising Tide stands firm on protest plans in Newcastle. Sunshine Coast Council bypassed over festival development. A council's large rate increase prompts a call for legislative change. And a Tasmanian mayor facing a no-confidence motion. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. Welcome back to the Local Government News Roundup, a selection of news from and about councils across Australia and beyond. Brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3. Simple, connected customer experiences. Heading this Monday edition of the Roundup, an arbiter has dismissed an application for a finding of misconduct brought by Wyndham Mayor Mia Shaw against councillor Robert Zatkowski. The allegation of misconduct related to the forwarding of a letter written to the Minister for Local Government to a third party who then published the content on Facebook. The letter outlined governance concerns that councillor Zatkowski had about the council that he'd written about to the Chief Municipal Inspector. The arbiter, Joel Silver, suggested the distribution of the letter was a self-interested exercise and had some sympathy for councillor Shaw's concerns. But, the arbiter said, while councillor Zatkowski did not act ideally, he was not satisfied that he'd engaged in misconduct, and the application was dismissed. The arbiter's decision will be tabled at the council's meeting on Tuesday. The Age has reported on a multi-million-dollar dispute between Whitehorse City Council and the Suburban Rail Loop Authority over a Burwood Park. The council is seeking nearly $7 million in additional compensation for Sinnott Street Reserve, which was compulsorily acquired in 2023 for a new underground train station. While the state government has offered $9.5 million for the land, Whitehorse Council is taking the matter to the Supreme Court, claiming the true value is $16.4 million. The dispute centres around different valuations of the land, with the council arguing it should be valued as potential residential housing, while authorities maintain it should be valued as a public park. Buloke Shire has formalised its frustration with what it describes as a lack of transparency from the Victorian government regarding major energy infrastructure projects. At its July meeting, the council passed a motion to formally request better engagement from government ministers and departments following a recent visit by Energy Minister Lily D'Ambrosio. Councillors say they were blindsided when just 8 days after the minister's visit, legislation was introduced granting expanded powers to access private land for electricity transmission projects, including the controversial V&I West route through Buloke. Mayor Alan Getley said, "This is not how a respectful partnership looks." He said our community is already grappling with multiple floods, deepening drought, rising emergency levies, and now divisive energy projects. The council remains opposed to the V&I transmission line in its current form and has invited the Premier, the Opposition Leader and Western Victorian parliamentarians to hear community concerns firsthand. Indigo Shire Council says it will work directly with current operators of the Beechworth Childcare and Kindergarten Centre on new leasing arrangements after an expression of interest process was ended due to the withdrawal of the preferred provider. Mayor Sophie Price said the remaining proposals don't meet community needs. She said the current operators, Beechworth Community Early Years Learning Centre and Beechworth Kindergarten, have agreed to collaborate. The council will receive a further report on the matter soon. Greater Dandenong City Council is taking a stand against gambling harm in the community. The Dandenong Star-Journal reported the councillors have voted to lobby the state government to prevent any additional poker machines in the area. Despite being one of Victoria's most disadvantaged municipalities, Greater Dandenong residents lost a staggering $138 million on poker machines last financial year. That's over $1,000 per adult and the second highest loss rate in the state. While the municipality currently has 928 machines across 14 venues, regulations would allow for another 61 machines under the regional cap, something the council wants to prevent. And Melbourne Lord Mayor Nick Rees is pushing for electoral reform in the City of Melbourne, requesting a review of the 2001 City of Melbourne Act in a letter to Local Government Minister Nick Stakos. The Age reported that the move comes after a recent Electoral Commission report showed voter participation in Melbourne at just 70%, well below the state average of nearly 84%. A key focus of the proposed review is the controversial rule giving businesses 2 votes in council elections while residents get just 1, a system unique to Melbourne among Australian capital cities and described by critics as undemocratic. Councillor Rees is also advocating for real-time disclosure of political donations and bans on contributions from property developers and gambling interests. More news in brief. Greater Shepparton City Council is implementing a trial of 15 touch-and-go parking payment machines across its CBD, offering residents a modern smartphone payment option using NFC and QR code technology. The trial comes at no cost to the council or community. Mansfield Shire is hosting its second Speed Dating for Housing event on August 6, where residents and developers can meet with council staff to discuss housing needs and development opportunities in a one-on-one format. It follows a successful first event last November that generated 14 potential development inquiries. Bass Coast Shire Council will demolish the Kilcunda Viaduct Bridge after engineering reports confirmed it's structurally unsafe and beyond repair following a partial collapse last year. While acknowledging the bridge's significance to the community, the council will explore commemorative options. And Stonington Council has renewed its call for the Victorian Government to remove newly implemented immunisation charges. It now costs councils $2.32 per immunisation, which the council warns will strain budgets, potentially compromise access for families and risk the health of vulnerable children. This is the Local Government News Roundup, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association. To ensure all councils can comply with mandatory requirements, no matter their size or location, the VLGA is offering a special council or professional development intensives series. Partner with 3 other councils and save more than 50% off the minimum cost of completing all 13 modules in Year 1. The intensives will be held over 3 days, include all 13 mandatory modules, are cost-effective and time-efficient, and they promote the benefits of peer-to-peer and face-to-face learning. In addition to the intensives, and in recognition that every council has different needs, the VLGA also offers bespoke training options, both online and in person. A faculty of facilitators will work with you to customise a program that responds directly to the unique professional development needs of your council and delivered in a way which suits you. To find out more, head to VLGA at vlga.org.au. On to our New South Wales report, and the decision to split Cootamundra-Gundagai Regional Council has sent waves of optimism through communities across the state still grappling with forced amalgamations from nearly a decade ago. ABC News reported that after last Thursday's announcement by Local Government Minister Ron Honig, phones have been ringing non-stop at the offices of community action groups from Tumbarumba to Bombarda. Grantley Ingram, coordinator of the Demerge New South Wales Alliance, said the decision represents a turning point for local democracy. He said this isn't just a win for Cootamundra and Gundagai, it's a beacon of hope for every community that lost its voice in 2016. In the Snowy Valleys region, where Tumbarumba and Tumut were forced together, Councillor Trina Thompson says the announcement has reinvigorated their demerger campaign. However, not all merged councils are rushing to divorce. In Dubbo, where the regional council includes the former Wellington Shire, Councillor Matthew Dickerson believes most residents have moved on. Minister Honig has emphasised that while a legislative pathway now exists for demergers, the process must be led by democratically elected councillors with genuine community consultation. Climate action group Rising Tide is standing firm on plans for a 2025 People's Blockade, despite facing scrutiny from local authorities, according to the Newcastle Weekly. The group met with Newcastle City Council and New South Wales Police last week to discuss their land use application for a protest camp at Richardson Park and Camp Shortland in late November. Rising Tide spokesperson Zach Schofield confirmed the group will proceed with the harbour protest activities regardless of the council's decision. The group cited a recent YouGov poll showing 2/3 of Newcastle residents support their application. New South Wales Police representatives presented their case in a closed session, which Rising Tide criticised as lacking transparency. New South Wales City Council will hold a special meeting on August 12 to make its final decision on the land use permit. The Deputy Mayor of Goulburn, Caitlin Flint, has criticised both the New South Wales and federal governments, claiming they've failed the community following the shutdown of the city's urgent care clinic. The closure, which occurred on June 30, has left many residents concerned about access to critical healthcare services in the region. In a statement to the Goulburn Post, Deputy Mayor Flint demanded that health ministers from both levels of government provide explanations for the clinic's closure. The concerning development comes as rural healthcare access continues to be a pressing issue across regional Australia, with many communities facing similar challenges in maintaining adequate medical services. Bega Valley Shire Council is warning residents about a significant increase in improperly discarded used needles found in public areas and waste bins throughout the Shire. It warns that the situation poses serious health risks, including potential transmission of blood-borne diseases. The council is urging anyone who discovers needles not to touch them, but instead report findings to the New South Wales Government's Needle Clean-up Hotline. The Armidale Airport Cafe has been thrown a financial lifeline from the local council, which has agreed to subsidise operations until Christmas. Armidale Regional Council has unanimously approved a $3,000 monthly subsidy to keep the airport cafe's doors open, plus an additional $13,000 for operations earlier this year. The Armidale Express reported that the cafe has struggled since Rex Airlines withdrew from the Armidale-Sydney route in October 2023. The cafe currently serves passengers from approximately 3 daily Qantas flights and 1 Link Airways service to Brisbane. And the New South Wales Government has endorsed all 13 recommendations from a report on post-mining land use in the Hunter region. Muswellbrook Mayor Jeff Drayton has praised the decision, emphasising that communities need new industries before mines close. He told the Newcastle Herald it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to provide industry, innovation and manufacturing capability which will power the nation. The government will complete some of the recommended review work by June next year, focusing on land use reform and infrastructure reuse. Some New South Wales Council briefs for you. The Hills Shire is partnering with Hills Football Incorporated and Hills United Football Club to transform Caddies Creek Reserve in Beaumont Hills into an elite football facility. The Stage 2 development will include 4 additional full-sized football fields, mini fields, amenities and improved access. Bathurst Regional Council is intensifying its anti-littering campaign, encouraging residents to report litter bugs through the New South Wales EPA's reporting service, with significant fines for offenders. Deputy Mayor Councillor Ben Fry says the campaign sends a clear message that littering is unacceptable and that litterers will be seen, reported and fined. And Port Stephens Mayor Leah Anderson has issued a strong plea for better behaviour online, saying social media abuse is truly damaging to individuals and the community. The Newcastle Herald reported the Mayor's concerns about a documented increase in negative and abusive comments towards councillors, staff and community members over the past 6 months. Let's check in on some local government news out of Queensland. The state government there has taken control of a major music festival development on the Sunshine Coast, bypassing local council objections, according to ABC News. It reported that Planning Minister Jared Blaisie has called in a $35 million application for a tourist park in Coochin Creek that would include 75 cabins and 75 campsites. The controversial move overrides Sunshine Coast Council concerns about potential environmental impacts on a nearby wetland of international importance. The development by the Comiskey Group could eventually host up to 35,000 people at music festivals throughout the year. Sunshine Coast Mayor Rosanna Natoli has raised issues about bushfire risk, limited road access and ecological impacts, while developers claim the project will generate $60 million annually for the local economy and create nearly 600 jobs. ABC News reported that North Burnett Regional Council's record-breaking 25% rate increase has prompted a call from federal member for Flynn Colin Boyce for an overhaul of Queensland's Local Government Act. The council cited declining revenue growth and increasing regulatory compliance costs as key factors behind the decision. Mr Boyce claims the current legislation is making local governments simply not sustainable, pointing to complex requirements around environmental protocols, native title and cultural heritage. Queensland Minister for Local Government Anne Ley said the Crisafulli government is already working on reforms to reduce red tape and cut costs for councils. The Townsville Bulletin reports on Townsville City Council's push to speed up the appeals process for dangerous animals, which currently takes up to 400 to 500 days to resolve. The council unanimously passed a resolution to present a motion at the LGAQ conference in September, seeking changes that would benefit councils, attack victims and animal owners. And Ipswich City Council is conducting a citywide safety inspection of its footpath network using specialised vehicles equipped with cameras to assess over 300 kilometres of footpaths from July through mid-August. The assessment will help the council identify areas requiring maintenance, guide future works planning and improve accessibility for pedestrians of all abilities. To Tassie now, and in Burnie, Councillor Ken Dorsey has tabled a no-confidence motion against Mayor Teeny Brumby, scheduled for discussion at the council's meeting this week. Councillor Dorsey told The Advocate that he hopes the motion will address what he describes as toxicity within the council. The motion calls for Councillor Brumby to resign as mayor while retaining her councillor position. Mayor Brumby has declined to respond directly to Councillor Dorsey's comments, while General Manager Shane Crawford confirmed that regardless of the motion's outcome, the Mayor can continue in her role should she choose to do so. Former Mayor Sam Samek has criticised the situation as a monotonous distraction from important council business. Tasmanian councils are looking to the future with a new plan to use artificial intelligence to streamline planning processes. The Local Government Association of Tasmania is investigating how AI could review development applications, helping developers identify requirements and supporting council officers to spot non-complying elements. LGAT Chief Executive Officer Dion Lester told The Mercury the initiative aims to reduce workload for planners, noting that councils across Tasmania and nationally face a chronic shortage in this area. The proposal will be discussed at this Friday's LGAT General Meeting. A dramatic display of local government dysfunction in South Australia at Burnside Council last week. Several councillors either walked out or refused to participate in a meeting, effectively blocking discussion on a damning culture report. According to the Advertiser, the council was set to debate the report, which described the council as psychologically unsafe and dysfunctional. However, when Mayor Anne Monceau attempted to start the meeting, councillors Joe Harvey, Jane Davey, Harvey Jones and Jennifer Turnbull walked out. Another councillor, Mike Dawes, remained in the chamber but refused to take his seat. The political manoeuvre successfully prevented the council from reaching the required quorum, forcing the discussion to be postponed until the 19th of August. The controversial report, for which all councillors were interviewed, found the organisation in urgent need of intervention and made 10 recommendations, including outsourcing code of conduct complaints and limiting face-to-face interactions between councillors. Mount Barker Council is urging residents not to panic after early concept designs for a new city centre project were shared online without proper context, causing some community concern, according to a Power FM report. The designs shown to council members are preliminary concepts, not final plans, and officials have stressed there's still extensive community consultation ahead before any decisions are made. To clear up confusion, the council will upload the full presentation to their website with explanatory notes and an FAQ section in the coming days. A draft master plan is not expected until early next year. To Western Australia, from Perth now, a report that two well-established playgroups in Bayswater are facing an uncertain future as the city of Bayswater considers selling the land they've called home for nearly a decade. Casamia Montessori Playgroup and Bayswater Playgroup, which together serve approximately 100 local families, say they were shocked to discover their Hudson Street premises has been identified for potential disposal under the council's land assets strategy. The council's CEO has since clarified that they're considering a part disposal of the site, focusing on the car park rather than the entire property. No alternative location has been identified for the playgroups, whose current lease runs until 2027. Community members have launched petitions to save the facility, while the council is expected to make a decision at its meeting this week. And the City of Melville is set to honour AC/DC frontman Bon Scott with a permanent tribute. The council voted at its July meeting to investigate options for commemorating the late singer, who spent his youth in Melville and was laid to rest at Fremantle Cemetery in Palmyra in 1980. Canning Highway, which inspired the band's iconic hit Highway to Hell, runs through the heart of Melville and was once home to legendary pubs where AC/DC performed. Deputy Mayor Karen Wheatland said the city is looking at various options, from naming a park to creating a performance space or public artwork. Local schools, artists and community groups will be invited to help co-design the tribute. More news briefs for you. The District Council of Ceduna in South Australia is seeking feedback from ratepayers on a proposed jetty levy to address the deteriorating condition of 3 local jetties that would require an estimated $17.9 million in repairs. Residents have until August 3rd to complete an online survey about their willingness to pay additional rates. The City of Coburn has named Councillor Kevin Allen as Honorary Freeman of the City for his significant contributions to the community and sports achievements. It's the highest civic honour in the city and will be bestowed at the annual civic dinner in December, making Councillor Allen only the 6th person to ever receive the title. And Australia's first stacked carbon and cassowary credits project is launched at Niddens Creek in the Cassowary Coast, where 3,000 native trees were planted by 70 volunteers. The pioneering initiative rewards landholders for ecosystem restoration while generating both carbon and biodiversity credits, with potential to expand across 50,000 hectares in the wet tropics region. This is the Monday edition of the Local Government News Roundup, with stories from across Australia and beyond as we head now for our global report. In the UK, Sheffield City Council has issued a formal apology to 4 tree campaigners who were threatened with legal action during the city's controversial tree felling program in 2017. BBC News reported that an independent review found the council's approach was heavy-handed and resulted from what investigators called a bunker mentality within the authority. The latest apology follows a broader one issued last year after an inquiry identified a failure of strategic leadership in handling the $2.2 billion street improvement project. In Oxfordshire, a local council's efforts to become a certified real living wage employer have hit a roadblock, according to BBC News. Vale of Whitehorse District Council has paused its application for accreditation from the Living Wage Foundation, citing resource constraints and the upcoming local government reorganisation. The council revealed that contacting all third-party suppliers and contractors to commit to the higher wage rate was proving time-consuming and resource-intensive. The decision comes despite Greens councillors pushing for the accreditation since 2023 after discovering some council contractors were only paying the minimum wage. In the US, the family of Cornelius Taylor, a homeless man who died after being crushed by a bulldozer during an encampment sweep, has filed a lawsuit against the City of Atlanta. The 46-year-old man was inside his tent when city workers cleared the homeless encampment without checking if anyone was inside. The Associated Press reported that the lawsuit alleges that city employees failed to perform basic safety checks before using heavy machinery. Mr. Taylor suffered a broken pelvis, internal organ damage and bleeding that led to his death. The city had ordered the clearing of the encampment ahead of Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebrations. In Colorado, Loveland City Council member Erin Black has resigned her position following months of controversy, according to the Coloradoan. Ms. Black cited what she called a toxic political environment as the primary reason for her departure. The council member had been under scrutiny after an altercation at a park in March where she was involved in a heated verbal exchange with a Loveland resident. Though Ms. Black wasn't charged in the incident, 4 others received misdemeanour harassment summonses. Additionally, she faced allegations of violating the city charter through her interactions with the city's police chief. A special council investigation found evidence supporting the allegations but recommended censure rather than prosecution. It's the council's second vacancy this year, following an earlier resignation in March. Hamilton City Council in Canada has rejected a proposal to implement online voting for upcoming elections, going against officer recommendations, according to CBC News. In a 9-5 vote, councillors turned down the option that would have allowed residents to cast ballots online for both a September ward by-election and the October municipal elections. Supporters of online voting argued the digital option would provide more security checks than traditional in-person voting, but the majority of the council expressed concerns about cyber security, particularly following a recent costly cyber attack on city systems. And Local Government New Zealand is calling for a significant change to electoral terms, proposing that both local government and parliamentary terms be extended to 4 years. The peak body has suggested it be put to voters in a referendum. Nelson Mayor Nick Smith, who chairs LGNZ's working group on electoral reform, said local and national elections should be spaced 2 years apart to avoid voter confusion. The working group has also recommended abandoning postal voting in favour of in-person voting over a 2-week period, similar to general elections. And that's the latest from the Roundup for Monday the 21st of July, edition number 479. If you have comments or feedback or story ideas, you can send an email to lgweeklynews@gmail.com or hit the send a text button in your podcast player. The podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. The Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I'll be back with more news on Wednesday. Until then, thanks for listening, and bye for now. The next VLGA-LGIU Global Executive Live panel is on Tuesday the 22nd of July, exploring the topic of building the local economy. It will be held online from 5:30pm to 7pm, with panellists including Dr. Angela Jackson from the Australian Productivity Commission, David Marlowe, Chief Executive of Third Life Economics, and Merrin Tinkler, Manager Economy and Culture at Mount Alexander Shire Council. They'll explore the role of local government in economic growth, ways to ensure local economic planning remains resilient to economic changes, and what the shared challenges and opportunities are for local economic performance. Global panels are free for VLGA members and alumni and $60 for non-members. Visit the VLGA website to register now.